Hey, welcome to the communication, leadership and team training. And now we are talking about team building. And imagine you have the people or they're coming to you, but it's really about a team starts and falls. And there are some called team phases. They're called, just to get this right, forming, storming, norming and performing. So team building is really something and which goes through several phases. So imagine like really simple, you start a team, you have like 5 to 10 people or something like this, and you have a task. So the first phase is people form, is the forming of the team. So you set it up, get people together, meet, talk about, maybe they are talking to each other and these kind of things. So they get to know each other. And then it's, there's like, everything is like sort of silent and so on, everybody's nice to each other, these kind of things. So now comes a very important phase, storming. Storming is really that now suddenly there are conflicts, who is doing what, there's maybe power plays, coalitions, and it's really like, it can be really unsettling there. And of course, then there's like norming afterwards, people agree, okay, who's doing what, and we organize, and then really they go into performance, then they go into regularly producing something. And the key thing is, and even like my professor, my PhD, not thesis, but like in the final test, he asked me this, okay, what happens if you have a team which is never going through this storming phase? Yeah? And the result, we agreed, no, we have to dismantle the team and build a new one, because it's very, very important. Sometimes there are very nice people coming together and they never do the storming. Yeah? And that's bad, because then you have all the conflicts underground. The thing is that like in the beginning, like no conflicts yet, and then they suddenly come up, people like battle them out and agree on stuff. So storming in a team is a very, very important phase. The only problem is you are going to see stuff which isn't really that nice. It's like maybe people are like saying, hey, why is this guy doing that? There's conflicts and so on. So now if you're like the leader of the team or the manager, you have to resist the urge to control everything, to make everything nice. Yeah? And in some companies where I worked for, there was like the thing, everything had to be nice. We always want to have this nice talking. And of course, you still can be friendly, but you can still make your point. You don't have to scream and be bad to people. No, that's not the case. It's just, but you want to get the conflicts up. Yeah? So, and I had like this kind of thing that when I went to like teams and suddenly all the conflicts which were already there for years and maybe decades were like popping up, and then boom, it was like, oh, that's cool. That's like I had this natural ability to like light the fire under the conflicts, which is giving you, when you're like forming and you don't really go to the performing phase. The performance is worse. That's why we want to have this storming phase. We want to bring the conflicts up. You don't want to have underlying conflicts all the time. And so you have to resist the urge to control everything, which like a lot of people try to do. And they say, oh, the team isn't working. It's bad. It's bad. It can't be that way. No, you have to let it run for a time. And, if your team is like getting new people in and there are changes, they have to go through the cycle again. Yeah. So it's like you are regularly going to happen, like you introduce new team members to a team, they will go through this cycle. Yeah, so it's like maybe faster, and then if there's just one person, it's going to settle faster. But you like have to like stoke the fire, so to speak, every now and then. And sometimes if the team is not performing very well, like take somebody out, put somebody in, bring fresh. It's going to help with that thing, because like forming is the first one. Yeah. The conflicts aren't there yet. Storming is the conflict stuff is battled out. And then norming, people agree on like processes and like responsibilities and how we do things. And then performing is really like delivering on what the team is going to do. Very, very important thing, like you can look it up and have more stuff. Like really the problem is the urge. A lot of people, they want to have everything nice and no conflicts. And no, conflicts are actually good. You just want to find a way how to get the conflicts up and settle them and then agree on something. Like another advice for me, just have the team decide. Like for example, in our project, the idea is that it's not I'm going to decide who's like the team leaders. I'm just like saying, hey, your team, decide who's going to lead the team. And then do like management activities, like structure. But the team is going to choose the team leader, manager. Imagine that if in all companies, people would be choosing the managers. Yeah? And suddenly, I was in teams that, like, I think, if I would have said, who wants to have my job? You can even have my pay, in that company. Probably nobody would have taken that thing. Yeah? I would agree. Yeah, so it's just a guess. I never tried this out, but it's really like, imagine, like you say, hey, a team, if somebody in the team says, I want to be the team leader, the team's going to vote and say, okay, go for it. Or you have something like, it's in Germany, it's the Misstrauensvotum, konstruktives Misstrauensvotum. Somebody has to translate this. It's like, in the government, we always have a government. In the Weimar Republic, it was like this. You could have, you could say, I don't want to have the leader anymore, and then the leader was gone. That was like incredibly bad. In Germany, now we have the thing that there is always a government. The old government is in place until we have a new one. There is a switch, and there is always a government. So, and even if, like in parliament, people are like don't like the government anymore, they can just make a vote and say we make a constructive Misstrauensvotum, and we just say, hey, we don't want that government, we are going to replace it with that government. And then they vote, and then it will switch. That has been done, I think, one time or maybe two times in German history. And it worked. We learned from the Weimar Republic, it was like utter chaos. And so you always have a team, leader, manager, and the team decides who it is. And of course, everybody is always invited to say and step up, because you are going to have some tasks, different tasks, as a team leader and manager than if you're just a team member. Yeah? A lot of people like to be just the team members, and you want to be it. In our environment, we choose. That's a cool thing. Yeah? So, thank you very much for watching. Please follow the channel.